near future, biochemical weapons cause a disaster that makes the air unbearable. During the interview, the President of the USA assured everyone that the priority is his citizens. Yet journalists keep mentioning some rumors about secret bunkers where they will hide scientists. Eventually, most of humanity is wiped out by this tragedy, and the nation's most important and intelligent scientists are put into cryogenic sleep in underground bunkers until the air turns toxic. There are dozens of such bunkers, and they are maintained by 2 engineers who are awake for 2 hours every 6 months. In this particular facility, the engineers are Bauer and Cartwright, and Bauer is always the first to wake up. He feels a little nauseous, but he recovers quickly, unlike Cartwright, who always wakes up with nightmares due to his claustrophobia. Bauer teases him for a while before finally letting his out of his tank, which is a different model from the others. Afterward, the 2 men begin their maintenance tasks, which include logging onto computers to keep the other facilities alive. Cartwright is pleased to see that the other bunkers are doing well, even if communication between the facilities is not possible. They also check the air on the surface, but unfortunately, it is still toxic. There is a board in his room with pictures of his old life, and Bauer likes to tape his friend's face with the word dead to remind himself of the reality out there, but Cartwright hates it and takes off the tape every time. Removes the engineers continue to check the information on the computer, and Cartwright begins to worry when he sees that the potential damage has been caused by seismic activity. The sleeping men scare Bauer, so he assumes Cartwright will be watching over them. While Bauer goes into a corridor to make repairs, Cartwright takes the opportunity to look at a picture he has hidden behind a board, only to suddenly turn around when he hears Abby. This is Cartwright's delusion about the woman he loves, and he doesn't mind chatting with her when she is alone. After putting the picture in his pocket, Cartwright goes to check on the sleepers, and it is revealed that Abby is one of the scientists there. A hallucination of her appears next to her tank while Cartwright runs the diagnosis, and she insists Cartwright should tell Bauer about her, but Cartwright says he will wait for the right time. At that point, Bauer joins him and begins complaining about the sleepers, thinking it a waste of resources and their lives to be taken care of by a man who knows some stuff about reptiles. However, Cartwright genuinely thinks that scientists are the future of humanity, and has calculated that he will be sleeping for 20 more shifts once he is done with his duties. The 2 use their remaining minutes to watch old TV recordings, play chess, and Bauer also uses the bathroom for a date with Manuela. Abby visits Cartwright again, saying she hopes to be together again when he falls asleep. However, Cartwright is nervous because entering the tank is always hell for him, no matter how many times he has done it. His claustrophobia is always triggered as Abby tries to comfort him. Cartwright suddenly sees flames all over his body and realizes that his tank is on fire. He runs to call Bauer, who comes out of the bathroom with sprinkler. The fire is successfully extinguished, but sadly the sleeping pod is now destroyed and Bauer injures his hand in the process. To make matters worse, 2 hours expire at that point, which means the lights go out and the air supply shuts off. Using torchlight and the little air left in the room, the engineers read the manual and learn there is an emergency override, so they head up the stairs to find the correct chamber. The emergency air supply valve turns on quickly. The 2 then return to the office to wait for backup air to reach them. While they wait, they share some details about their lives, and Bauer admits that he had a wife and 3 daughters, and special needs he had to lie about for a job. Bauer had to watch as the government sealed him in a bunker and his family was left to die under false promises. And Cartwright says he understands even if he doesn't have a family. At that point, the power finally comes back on and the air supply is restored, giving the clock 2 more hours to them. The engineers go looking for a spare pod in the storeroom but don't find any. Even though the manual says the parts are there, Cartwright realizes it can't be the only storeroom and examines the bunker blueprints, which contain a bunch of codes he doesn't understand. There's also a room called long-term storage that they usually don't cover because it's locked, but Cartwright bet the parts are in there. They both remove the seal and head into a corridor they've never seen before, eventually finding a door. Behind this, there is a locker room where Cartwright finds a broken security camera, which makes no sense as their system is not connected to this room. Bauer explains that it is a remnant from when the place was a military facility. Searching deeper inside, Cartwright sees Abby again and she follows him to the box, where she finally finds the spare pod. The engineers quickly fix Cartwright's tank, but he is still too scared to go inside. Bauer willingly tests it, and as he lays down, he notices that there must be a leak, the air getting thinner there. Cartwright goes to check the pump and suddenly the chamber pulls Bauer down, suffocating him until he struggles and panics. When Bauer is about to die, Cartwright finally arrives and cuts the pod to free him. Thinking that Cartwright tried to kill him, Bauer angrily pushes him away, but Cartwright explains that he was delayed because he could not find a knife to open the pod. Cartwright also reminds him that it should have been him, which convinces Bauer that it was an accident since Cartwright pod was destroyed. Now Bauer decides that he must kill one of the sleepers in order to use his tank. Catwright reminds him that it is his duty to care for the sleepers, but Bauer changes his mind, saying that no one can care if they are dead. While Catwright prepares a morphine injection for euthanasia, Abby shows up and tells him not to do it. She also says that it is as simple as getting an idea to ABC. Catwright declares that he cannot commit murder, and Bauer immediately begins to argue about it, saying that it is about survival. Bauer then starts to hit him, but Catwright pushes him away and threatens to give him an injection as he asks his friend to give his idea a chance. Feeling defeated, Bauer accepts. The two return to the office, and thanks to Abby's clue, Catwright learns that the strange codes on the blueprints are identical to those on the computer. Meaning each code represents another bunker facility that may contain more spare parts. Bauer thinks this is too dangerous because they cannot know if there is an air leak between the facilities, but Catwright is willing to take the risk. Catwright then dons a hazmat suit that will provide clean air and a radio that will put him in contact with Bauer, who will guide him by following him on security cameras. When he enters the first quarter, he is shocked to see a skeleton on the ground, whose clothes and gun suggest that it used to be a soldier. With only half an hour left, Bauer begins fixing some old monitors in the office, while Catwright goes further inside the dark tunnels, where he finds lots of floating blue dust from pollutants in the air. After a while, Catwright finally shows up on old security cameras, so Bauer begins to properly label fixed monitors. Eventually, Catwright finds a door with a sign that confirms it is an ABC facility. After struggling with a jammed lock, Catwright comes inside and is shocked to find that nothing is working here as he cannot open the front door. Catwright begins to feel discouraged, and Abby tells him not to give up. At that point, Bauer comes up with a solution. Catwright can enter the ABC facility by crawling through the air duct. Claustrophobia kicks in immediately, but Catwright swallows it up for the sake of his survival. As he progresses through the duct, he is disgusted to see that there are many bodies here as well, and he has to crawl over them. When Catwright goes deeper into the duct, Bauer loses contact with him, so he decides to use some equipment to boost the signal. However, when he grabs his toolbox, he learns that his knife has always been there and that Catwright probably lied to make sure it was there. He checks the security footage and is devastated to discover that Catwright was simply standing next to the tank, doing nothing while it suffocated. Meanwhile, Catwright finally gets to the ABC facility and his radio starts working again. As he looks around, he learns that the facility is in complete ruins with no survivors. There is also a hole in the ceiling which Catwright uses to look outside, only to find that the planet has been demolished by nuclear weapons long ago. Next, he checks the sleepers' chambers, but they too have been destroyed. Catwright is upset when he finally realizes that the computer is showing that all the facilities are alive and well. To keep the engineers' sanity and assure them that they are not alone, Bauer remarks that they cannot trust anyone anymore and puts the dead tapes back on the board. While Catwright continues to explore, he comes to the conclusion that his facility is only performing one task, which means they are alone. Abby arrives to tell him that he is not alone, but at that point, Catwright realizes he is running low on air and begins running back to his facility. Once he reaches the final quarter, Catwright goes through the decontamination process, while Bauer flaunts his knife on the other side of the door, pointing out his friend's lie. Catwright swears that he can explain, but suddenly Bauer reveals that he took the gun from the dead soldier and says that Catwright is a danger to him and the sleepers, meaning he must die. Desperate and scared, Catwright runs back to the ABC facility but is running out of air and has trouble walking. Abby arrives and tells him to return to the air duct as she has an alternate route he can take. As Catwright crawls his way out, Bauer berates him via radio, telling him how much the betrayal hurts and that he will soon die if he does not return. Catwright ignores him and continues on until he finds a way that will take him back to his facility, where he quickly removes his suit to breathe properly again. He then tries to return to the office, only to be suddenly found by Bauer, who opens fire. Fortunately, the shot does not land in the darkness, and Catwright runs back to hide behind the door. Bauer continues to pursue her, ignoring Catwright's pleas and reminders that they are the last survivors because he fears Catwright will kill him in his sleep. Using his radio, Bauer scrambles through his own communicator to find Catwright, but when he follows Echo, he learns that Catwright has taken his flashlight in his hand to deceive him. Left the radio behind. Meanwhile, Catwright locks the door behind him and goes to the infirmary to get some morphine. He is not sure whether he should kill a dear friend, but Abby persuades him to do so or Bauer will kill her first and they will lose their future together. After the injection is ready, Catwright comes out and finds that Bauer has managed to open the door and get inside. He tries to sneak around cautiously, but a bullet in his shoulder startles him. Bauer comes close when he suffers for killing a man he considered family, and Catwright tries to explain that he did it to protect his lover as he hands Bauer his incognito photograph. He then begins talking to Abby, which enrages Bauer because it sounds paranoid. Catwright uses this distraction to jump on Bauer and make him drop the gun. He then fails to kill her and escapes to the sleeper chamber. Bauer recovers his gun and finds the picture on the floor and something looks familiar on it. He rushes over to see the sleepers and confirms that Catherite has been lying more than he thought. It is revealed that Abby is Catherite's wife, and this is the only reason why he cares so much about the care of those who sleep. Enraged, Bauer threatens to kill Abby for coming out to his friend, but Catherite stuns him from behind by injecting morphine into his shoulder. Bauer tries to respond by shooting Catherite, but the morphine kicks in and he collapses on the floor in pain. Catherite intends to help him, but Bauer reminds him that there is not much time left, so Catherite must go to sleep to take care of his girl. Catherite goes back to the office and uses Bauer's sleep chamber to fall asleep just before the clock strikes 0. Catherite sees an illusion of Bauer playing with a chess set, before losing consciousness. After many years, the sleeping people finally wake up from their cryosleep and start looking around to see the current state of the world. Abby seeks out Catherite and finds that he is now old, but she embraces him nonetheless. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos.